Hi everybody! Welcome back to Nature Kids where I'll be doing Geography English Medium for grade 9 and it's the second lesson and it's also part 1, so stick around for the other parts. And the topic for today's lesson is Landscape of Sri Lanka. So now, without wasting any more time, let's get started with the lesson. Relief, drainage, climate, and natural vegetation are the main components of the physical landscape. The human landscape is created by man through his activities on the basis of this physical background. The main objective of this chapter is to study the interrelation between physical and human landscapes of Sri Lanka. Physical landscape. Sri Lanka is a beautiful island in the Indian Ocean with mountains, plains, rivers, waterfalls, beaches, vegetation, and man-made features such as roads, buildings, industries, and croplands. Now let's talk about the relief. Sri Lanka has diverse physical features formed over a long geological history. The main features are the central mountains and the plains that extend towards the coast. Based on relief, the island is divided into 3 zones. Now, here's how the relief map of Sri Lanka is divided into sections. This picture is actually in your book, so study it. And that's why it's in your book, so you have to study it. Anyway, the green stuff all over the Sri Lanka map is the coastal plain, up to 30 meters from the sea level. The yellow stuff is the intermediate plain from 30 meters to 300 meters. And the orange stuff is the central mountains over 300 meters. Coastal plain. The region from sea level up to the 30-meter counter line along the coast belong to the coastal plain. In the south, in certain places, the coastal plain is about 3 kilometers narrow, and in the north, it is about 32 kilometers wide. The coastal plain consists of various relief features. The lower areas of river valleys and river mouth regions belong to this. The coastal plain has several special features such as flatlands, points, lagoons, sand dunes, as well as features like braided rivers, marshy lands, and deltas. Marshes. Marshes are formed when river sediment blocks estuaries or when water collects in low-lying areas after river floods. Examples in Sri Lanka include Muthurajavela, Bundala, Kalmetiya, Somawathiya, Anaviludava, and Keralakele. Bays. A bay is a wide part of the sea that extends into the land and contains seawater. In Sri Lanka, examples include Kodiyar Bay, Arugam Bay, and Valigam Bay. Lagoons. A lagoon is a long area of brackish water separated from the sea by sandbars, with narrow opening to the sea during certain times of the year. In Sri Lanka, examples include Negombo, Jaffna, Puttalama, Chilau, and Badiklo lagoons. Points or headlands. A point is a rocky land area that extends into the sea. Examples in Sri Lanka include Dondra Head, Foul Point, Sangamankanda Point, and Point Pedro. Islands. Small land areas completely covered with water are called islands. Sea cliffs. A sea cliff is a steep coastal landform made of hard rocks. Examples Sri Lanka include Trincomalee, Kirinda, and Rumasla. Delta. A delta is a triangular landform created by sediments deposited near a river mouth. In Sri Lanka, deltas can be seen near the mouths of Mahaveliganga, Mioya, and Kalaoya. Now here's another part from your good old book. Yeah, this just shows what a parallel mountain and a residual hill is, like the explanation of what it is. Practically, Parallel Mountain is like Rakwana Mountains and Baltota Hills that extend northwest to southeast directions, and residual hills are the remains of hard mountains which have been subjected to erosion. Examples Kataragama, Mihintale, Sigiri, Ritigala, stuff like that. Now we're gonna learn about the intermediate plain. The intermediate plain is 3,300 meters in altitude, 30 to 300 meters in altitude, not 3,300 meters. According to the map 2.1 in your textbook, the plain is wider in the north and becomes narrower towards the south. The features that can be mostly seen are contour hedges, residual hills, rivers, floodplains, and plains. Central Hills. The areas over 300 meters belong to this zone. This region is more complex than other two relief zones. The Central Hills of Sri Lanka contain four main mountain peaks with ranges with high peaks, obviously. Samanala Mountain Range, Namanukula Mountain Range, Piduru and Kirigalpotta Mountain Range, and Knuckles Mountain Range. The third one, which is Piduratalagala, it's not another mountain Kirigalpotta, it's the same thing. It's Piduratalagala Kirigalpotta mountain range, okay? Plateaus. A plateau is an area of flat land at a high elevation. There are 5 plateaus in the Central Hill: Kandy Plateau, Hatton Plateau, Valimadda Plateau, Mahawelatana Plateau, and Koslanda Plateau. Gaps or passes. A pass is a low area located between two mountains. Haputale, Balana, Galagedara, and Ginigathena are examples. Waterfalls. The plateaus which are located in the central hills are of different heights, and rivers flow across steep slopes or escarpments forming waterfalls. Bambarakanda, Dunhinda, Lakshapana, Dieluma, and Rambonda are examples. Drainage. Sri Lanka has rich water resources with 103 river valleys. Among them, 34 rivers begin in the hill country and flow throughout the year as permanent rivers. Some rivers in the dry zone flow only during the rainy season and are called seasonal rivers. And here are a few main rivers of Sri Lanka. Okay, not a few, like a truck ton are given here, and this is in your government textbook. So study it, because I actually got this for one of my, let's just say, practice tests that I did on a paper, and I was confused as heck. So yeah, you gotta study this. I'm sorry, but you have to study this. This is gonna take a lot of time and take over half of your brain capacity, but you have to study this. Details of a few major rivers in Sri Lanka. Again, not a few. A truck ton. Makes your brain hurt. You wanna die. Anyway, you have to study this. And this is another diagram actually given in your textbook, and it would not be in your textbook if you didn't have to study it. What a coincidence. Just study the lengths and areas. Yeah, that's practically the thing in the table. But still, all you have to do is just study like the. Here's a trick. Just study the last number or the first number of the length and the area. Usually in the term test, they might not ask you to write the maker, but mostly just like underline the correct one. So if you know the first letter and the last letter, you actually know what you're doing. About 80% of rivers in Sri Lanka flow through the dry zone. Mahaveli River is the longest river and has the largest river basin, covering about one-sixth of the country. Sri Lanka mainly has a radial drainage pattern, which dendritic and trellis patterns are also found. Rivers like Kaluganga, Kalaniganga, and Giniganga are shortened and often cause floods during rainy seasons. That's all for today, guys. Like and subscribe like it says on the screen. Please do. It makes me happy and not emotionally damaged. Anyway, I will be posting part 2 very soon, hopefully. And maybe I've already posted it. Who knows? Anyway, it's time for me to go make it or either do my homework. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video and bye bye.